Recently, I got my pilot's license. I'm a private pilot for a single-engine lane.